Hi, welcome to the next instalment in my Discovering Kentish Villages. Today, Eastry. There's nothing particularly historic about Eastry other than the fact that we've got an initial Saxon palace, King Ecbert, I think he was, but we'll talk about that when we get in there. We used to have the East Kent Light Railway coming through here. There's no trace of the station anymore. A couple of notable figures to talk about, but for the most part, it's going to be photographing old, lovely buildings and village scenes. For the most part also, the A256 runs right through the village. Now, in the 80s, the Sandwich bypass was built. In the 90s, the Tilminston and Whitfield bypass was built. So if we look on the map here, you can see that the bypass completely skirts past Eastry now. But in its day, before the 90s, this would have been the main thoroughfare with all the trucks and the transport and the buses, just everything through here. And we'll see a glimpse of that as we get into the village. So let's start by looking at the village historic board sign thing. And then we'll take it from there. I'll tell you what, I could have chosen a better day or a cooler day. It's about 31 degrees. Thankfully there is a bit of a breeze. Let's have a look at this historic village sign, see what we can get from it. Eastry is built on the old Roman road from Richborough to Dover. Stands on a low ridge and was once the head of an inlet in the channel separating Kent from the Isle of Thanet. Anglo-Saxon graves have been discovered in the village. Here's a scene of the Sandwich to Dover bus. Chug, chug, chug. The name Eastry means Eastern Province. When Anglo-Saxons colonised Kent, they divided the kingdom into 7 administrative districts. There's the old square. We'll take a picture of that. And the High Street. St Mary the Virgin Church with the courthouse. This is the area where the medieval hall was. So plenty of history, in as much as, you know, it's been a settlement since the Anglo-Saxon times. But more importantly, I think it was a main, thoroughfare. That's what I want to say. All the way through the centuries. So, think 16th, 17th, 18th century, you would have had coach horses with coaches, and there are several old coach houses along here. There's the old pub. Now, one thing I want to mention, and I should have thought about this when I was doing my other videos, there is a website called the Francis Frith Collection, francisfrith.com. And what he did from about 1860 all the way up to 1870, his team took pictures of old towns and documented them, and they're on this website, and you can actually buy prints, especially if, there are prints of your old town. And what I think I'll do is overlay some of the Francis Frith images for Eastry. Now, obviously, there'll be copyright images, and I'll keep all the copyright information in place. But I think it's a case of me kind of capturing 2025. How does it look now compared to how it looked then? And of course, what I'll also do is, just stumble upon properties that he wouldn't have photographed, and I'll photograph them. It's a glorious day. So let's start at the village hall. It's just down here. And of course, you can see just how busy it is here. Cars parked everywhere. So the village starts here, the post office, with the A256 running all the way up, disappearing up into the top there, and that's the kind of village square there. So, yeah, but I want to just have a look at this old building. This is the old village hall, which was built by a philanthropist, I believe. And we're talking a time when this whole area was just rural. There was no industrial revolution to talk of that Eastry had. It never did kind of get the industrial revolution. There was the railway that I mentioned. But they built this, and this is a glorious old Victorian building. And it was used as the central hub for the community. People would come here to have meetings and gatherings, and they would do their voting here. So and it's still used as the village hall. And it just stands proudly. So what it comes down to is me capturing images in 2025. How do they look now? Memory card issues. It is so hot here. All my tech is falling apart. I was just driving here in my car and the clutch pedal disappeared to the floor. And I'm like, no, what's happening here? A couple of presses and it got back to normal. I'm like, oh no, last thing I need is my clutch going. How can I best capture this? I think I'll have to stand. I don't know. Let's go behind this car. I might have to do a pano here, you know. Busy. Busy, busy, busy. This place is always busy. Let's get the clock tower first. What I can do with that, but there you go. That's the clock tower and the village hall. I think it's rather busy this end of town because of the post office, so people are parking their cars. But there are several. This was the old butcher's, and there are some Francis Frith images which I'm going to try and replicate. So here's the scene, and I'll put the Francis Frith image in.
Did you get my best side?
Sorry?
Did you get my best side?
I did, yeah. Great profile.
I thought you were singing looking.
Well, I'll try and do it, because I do a YouTube channel for my photography.
Yeah.
Can I replicate the scene?
You get those black and white photographs that inserted on the press.
Yeah, that kind of idea. With 2025, what's it look like now? It's very busy.
I think the post office have got a couple of books about local history.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they're still available, but there was a now unfortunately deceased guy,
Okay.
his name escapes me, who did a lot of that. And there's a talk at the village hall along those lines.
You do get these old villages with people that are in them. Is it Liminge or Lim? Lim. Where the castle is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy that did a book about all the properties that were requisitioned during World War II, and he did a talk on all of that.
That's
like, fantastic.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
When I was a bit thinner, I used to do World War II reenactments at Dover Castle.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, great fun.
Into the war rooms and all of that stuff?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, they used my picture once for Lord Ramsay.
Okay.
There was a small little short film that was done there.
Yeah.
And they asked if they could get permission, so I didn't mind.
Yeah.
Just for the...
I'll crack on.
Yeah, enjoy.
Nice chatting with you. How much of that do I keep in? I want to try and capture this image. So I gave you the overlay. Right, I'm chatting with all the right people at all the wrong time. Just chatting with a lady, telling her what I'm doing. And she said she's going to seek out the channel. So if you're watching this and you saw the channel, drop me a comment. Tudor Smith. I should remember that, she goes. I think I'm doing a lot of editing on this. And capture this scene. This is Francis Frith in modern day. And then what I'll do is overlay my image with his image, and we'll walk up here while you're having a look at that. So as we walk up the main street, we'll get to the little square at the end where the pub is. But you've got all these old buildings, and some of them are just really old. I don't specifically want to just come out and try and replicate Francis Frith's images. I want to find my own, but he does capture kind of what I would capture if I was taking a picture of, you know, a village scene. Whoa, watch out, tracker! I like this, and I don't know what the story is. Four Seasons Cottage with a walkway through. It's all quite modern, isn't it? I think I'll take a picture of this. Now that's a scene from the Francis Frith catalogue. The only difference is that we've got all these modern cars. I'm going to get off this main high road. There I was thinking that the bypass would mean that the road is empty. But no, it's not your Wickhamborough, is it? I'm going to capture these little terrace houses here. This is the top end of the high street, so you've got the kind of village square. That way used to go to the old mill. This building on the right used to be a petrol garage, petrol station, and the pub is just to the left. Let's just cross the road here. I'm not sure if you'll get a glimpse of the pub. You could just see it creeping round from the edge there. But I want to replicate an image here because just at this angle there's a shot of the petrol station with the pumps. And of course what I'm doing, I'm capturing it in my eyes. It's interesting because it's almost still looking as old as it did then. Look how old that is. Guy's renovating the window at the top there. When we come around the corner, we've got the pub, 5 Bells. And you'd have had the old butchers and the light. Isn't that glorious? Look at that. A couple of shots here. What I like is this old garage, because you've got the old original A256 sign. That's got to be from the 50s and 60s, hasn't it? I want to capture this. This is the 256 sign. Because it looks old and ancient. Right, let's go down Church Street. It's gone all quiet. I'm looking forward to going in the church, actually, because it'll be nice and cool. Okay, Francis Frith moment. I think it is anyway. If it's not, you'll get my image. Just wait for the guy with the high-vis jacket to disappear. Got him.
I did say you would catch me.
And I saw you disappearing, so I thought I'll wait till he disappears around the corner there. I was chatting with him before, wasn't I? Don't know how much of it I put in. Wow, look at these. Wow, the sky up there. You'll love this. People are really friendly around here. Got the old vicarage. That's looking rather splendorous. This scene here is in the Francis Frith. 2 scenes actually. One with this square house and one with the terraced houses, so I'll have to stand a bit further down there. I am looking forward to going in that church, I can tell you. That's a sign of modernity. All the little bins. Such a shame. It's the way it goes these days. One of the terraced houses and one with terraced Francis Frith image. They do look lovely, don't they? We'll go in the church because I'm looking forward to the idea of a cool place. So you've got Eastry Court just through here, and I had it in my head that Eastry Court was where the original palace was. So the story goes that well after the Roman times, it became a Anglo-Saxon or even just Saxon stronghold, and King Egbert ruled the roost, and he had his nephews Ethelbert and Ethelstan killed, murdered, because this is it's not primogeniture, you know, where the eldest inherits. This is when you get kings, I'm trying to put you down here, worried about losing their position in their throne, so they kill everybody that stands in their way. Now the route I'm going to take, we're going to go in the church in a minute. It's a beautiful big church, and it really is, you know, I'm talking, this is Eastry village. When I take you in there in a moment, you'll think we're in a cathedral. It's so big. But we've got Eastry Court here. Don't know if I can take a photograph of it, but it's a beautiful manor house just at the edge of the wall of the church here. I'll let you see it, but there's some guy doing some work and stuff. And it's got this lovely drive. I don't know if my camera picked that up. There was some guy instructing someone else, and he was using profanity. That won't do on a YouTube channel. I might have had to beep it out. Let's go in here. The church is open every day for quiet and reflection. I'm glad to hear it. I'm hot and I'm sweaty because it's 31 degrees out there. So you're not going to see my face. We'll have a quick walk through, take it in. It's immense. And I'll take some photographs and then we'll do another bit of walk. That's interesting. They have a remembrance window for individual people. Is that why we have stained glass windows? This is an interesting monument. Battle of Trafalgar going on. Now I can't read up there because I've got limited vision. And without putting my glasses on, I won't be able to see it. And I still can't see it, so hey-ho. The story goes that this monument, in fact, let's turn the camera back round. And the last time I was here, I got this from the lady that was sat here in the church. She told me that this monument was destined for Westminster Abbey in London because it commemorates a naval admiral who sailed in Nelson's fleet and achieved part of the great victory of Trafalgar. 2 were made. This is the larger of the 2. Westminster Abbey received the smaller monument and then later said, well, we should have had the larger one. We would like the large one and you can have the small one back. And they made a stand. They said, no, it's impossible to do. Because if we take it from the wall, not only will we damage it, but it will damage our wall as well. And so they have the original that was destined for Westminster Abbey, and they have it in here. Fascinating. But I'm going to leave you with the gallery, just some images that I took, because I think it's a rather glorious church. And we shall resume outside once I've finished taking my pictures. despite it being hot, I'm actually glad to be back outside because there's a cool breeze. Now, I mentioned that there were no notable figures for Eastry, and by figures, I'm not talking, 21, 17, 3 individuals, but there are two that can be mentioned. Sydney Greenstreet was an actor, but he didn't start acting until he was either 60 or 61. So he was a bit of an entrepreneur. He tried to, he went abroad to do some mining, could have been copper mining, silver mining. That venture failed. He had lots of jobs, but when he got to 60, he needed a little passion to help him stop being idle. So he took up some acting lessons and moved to Hollywood. He eventually became an American citizen, but he was born here, and he can be seen in the Maltese Falcon and Casablanca. So he starred opposite Humphrey Bogart. Love the fact that the graves, the hill slopes down. Giving you the fact that I'm going to take a picture of this. The other famous person that I came across, I can't remember his name. It might have been Tuck, because it rhymes with luck. Don't go there. He was a World War II flying ace with, I'll put it on screen, I've got it in my head that he had 19 victories of shooting down enemy aircraft. But he survived the war, and he settled here in Eastry, and ended up, his passion became growing mushrooms and selling them. Kind of like sideline of being a farmer, right? So they were the only two notable ones that I could find for Eastry. But now we're coming into village proper. We're far away from the main high street. And I'm just going to walk down here through the gate, through the pasture, and then take a little meander along a country lane. And the country lane goes back up to the Five Bells pub. So that will complete the video, I think. As I say, I do these videos, and I want to get a little bit of information, but I also want to just discover it by myself, because then you're experiencing the discovery as I am. Now, how do I get through here? This is like the smallest kissing gate I think I've ever seen. And you try doing it with camera gear, photography gear. My word. Please keep to the footpath. Please be slim if you're coming through this gate. Ah, pasture land. Isn't that wonderful? I'll get a landscape or two out of this. There's an oast house up there. I'm going to take a picture of that. I like that old rustic cottage. I can zoom in for that. I still want to retain the Francis Frith theme, because there's one image that he took on that back lane. I forget what the name of it is, but there are also some lovely properties, and I think I can get a photo opportunity there. But I'm going for the oast house with the fields. I'm just going to give my lens a clean. I'm suddenly aware that, it's been hot and I've been perspiring, and where I've been looking through eyepieces, everything is smudged. So I'll get home and I'll have a look at my images and they'll be all blurred. And why didn't you sort these things out? Right, aperture priority, because I was on auto in the church. I wanted to make sure that I could capture things without having to think about anything. But we are back on aperture priority, f13. I'm going to place the oast house a little to the left. Looking good. Editing this thing to blazes. The thing just toppled onto my back. The leading line going down through the field. And look at all this lovely, lush wild grass, shall we say? I think it's just grass that's overgrown and turned into, it's not even wheat, it's just grass. Anyway, let's get down a little so that we're ground level with the footpath leading down to the cottage. I'll take a couple of shots because I don't know if portrait, landscape, low down, and that's what we can do. We can just make our decision after we've taken the shot, right? Wow, what a juxtaposition. There I was, busy high street in the village, hustle and bustle of vehicles, people and properties, and then suddenly, and I'm still in Eastry, here I am, just, it's so peaceful and lovely. But there's no architecture. Anyway, we'll go through here, join the main road, and you might like what you see. Doesn't that look lovely? The modern house is quite nice. It's got a European flavour about it. Come on, you lot. It's a taxi. Obviously taking a shortcut. Look at this old bridge. Fascinating. The bridge to nowhere. Just noticed I'm dripping. So would you be in 31 degrees heat. England in the summer. True. Car coming. What is wrong with these people? Game on. Oh, actually, that helped because now I've got a better view. There's the thatched cottage edge and the house going up. What a lovely shot. That's your chocolate box image. It's rather lovely, isn't it? Don't know what the maintenance would be on the roof like that. But yeah, rather pleasant. So we continue down the lane. Game on. Just been trying to put some footage together so that I've got it to music, but I saw the old car plate, so certainly in the 2000s. Abstract photography. Because I can, right? Oh, car coming out the drive. Let's move my camera while I'm walking. I keep bumping into people and explaining why I'm doing my photography because of Francis Frith, you know, and trying to recreate his images. So I just met a couple. They were in the car, came out the drive there. Do you remember me going, game on? Yeah, it's that old thing, isn't it? You always get worried that you're trespassing and you're doing something that's illegal. But I'm just taking pictures of scenes, aren't I? So I'm not capturing people and stuff like that. So how about this scene? This isn't the one Francis Frith took a picture of. However, I'm going to take a picture of it because it's really lovely. Is this not the busiest village in Kent? I think people coming down here are just out to investigate themselves. And now I've got a DHL van. I'm going to put the camera here. You can watch me taking the picture as opposed to seeing what I'm taking a picture of. Game on. I need high ground. Oh, what a quaint thing. Right, a couple more to take a shot at. This one looks right nice. But I think as we come round the corner we get a better angle of it. Old Lynch Cottage. I wonder what the history of these buildings were in their days. Because that was certainly not a modern cottage, is it? Was this a farmland in its day? Just makes me wonder, you know, people buy them, you know, as modern properties, but they're steeped in history. Look at that, isn't that a chocolate box scene, if ever I saw one? Let's prop you there quickly. I'll move you if a car comes. Road is uneven. It has a camber. I'm on aperture priority with auto ISO. As long as I've got my depth of field right, the speed is all working properly, and the exposure's working properly because of the ISO being on auto. So I'll get a good shot. All I've got to do is point and click, really. So we've got to go up this hill. It's the last leg of my Eastry jaunt. And we'll get the Five Bells pub. But the thatched cottage here was actually photographed by Francis Frith. I'm getting all tongue-tied now. Francis Frith. Too many F's and too many R's. I'm grateful that I've put the images on, but I will have put the copyright ownership to them. So there's a link at the top left to his channel, or the channel, because it's a business, and you can order the actual prints, which you can have made up in frames and everything. So, you know, depending where you live, it may well be that your village or town has been photographed in the Francis Frith Collection. It's a different scene. Can't come in. Because of the overgrown bushes and everything. Oh, come on. I'm not in your way. It's all about deliveries, isn't it? Right, I'm not going to show you me taking the picture. Here's the Francis Frith version, and I will overlay it now with my version. It is, of course, very different because I don't know what date his image was taken. But there were no cars in the image. There were no cars coming down the road. And these bushes and trees with the lamp, they weren't in his image. So I think I can get a couple of shots of it with its thatched roof from different angles. One from this angle and one from the other angle. Here's those two images. So we come up to the top of this lane. Look at that. Fir bank. Delightfully situated property. And I can smell summer. I'd get a shot of that, but the car is in the way. But just know that Eastry has country lanes like this. And then we come back into the edge of town. In fact, not town. It's the village, isn't it? These old cottages. 2 up, 2 down. This one looks interesting because it looks like some kind of customs house. You know, it's narrow. It could have been an office block of some kind. But I guess it's private home now. I was born in Bangor, 1963, North Wales. Parents didn't live in Bangor. That was where the hospital was because they lived on Anglesey, in a place just outside of Amloch. Now, I had a grandmother lived in Amloch. So as I was born in Bangor, taken straight home to Anglesey, that's where the first 3 years of my life. And then subsequent visits back to Wales, I have distinct memories of visiting Amloch. Here's a Google Street Map image of it. And it looks similar to all the roads that I've just been walking on, which makes me think maybe there's a planning, idea that all houses and all streets kind of all look the same. So it's nice to capture them. Anyway, that was Eastry, which is, I think, probably about 3 or 4 miles outside of Sandwich. I enjoyed that. However, have I perspired? That was a walk and a half. So we come back out where Church Street down there where we walked. So we walked down there, went to the church, walked down the back lane, came back up here. And the Five Bells. I'm going to put the video camera away now and head back to the car, get home and process this video. I met 5 people on this little trek. all of them really pleasant people. You know, I'm always worried when I'm out and about with my camera and think someone's going to accost me. What the hell do you think you're doing? Why are you taking pictures? But the reality is, people don't mind. And when you talk to them and you explain, they're genuinely interested and they don't mind. So all of you that I bumped into today, you said you might check out my channel. If you did, drop me a comment. Let me know that you were there. I didn't get pictures of you, but it is what it is. I'll see you in the next village adventure. Stay tuned. Subscribe if you want to carry on. And yeah, bye for now.